afternoon and thanks for joining me on the news. My name is Remy Allen. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has assigned portfolios to newly inaugurated commissioners in Ondo State. Amidu Takuro has been assigned to the Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs Ministry, Benga Olaniyi, Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Sunday Akinwalere, Water Resources and Sanitation, Olayato Aribo, Agriculture, Dr. Banji Ajaka, Health and Rashid. Lola Fadbemi has been posted to Women Affairs and Social Development, Sakari Suhu Guleye, Youth and Sports Development, while Laulu Akindolie is in charge of Education. The rest are Shegun Ayere, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Boye Ologbese, Regional Integration and Development, while Wale Akindosoto is in Information and Orientation. Governor Aiyedatiwa has equally reassigned Olubenga Omole from Ministry of Information to Ministry of Transport as Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation. It was a massive turnout of the people of Ile-Oluji and a warm reception for Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who was on a campaign tour to the community ahead of the governorship primary election of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. Led by the Jegu of Ile-Oluji, Oba Olufaderin Adetimehin, the people of the town restated their firm support for Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Governor Aiyedatiwa, in appreciation of the impressive turnout and the support, promised not to politicize their welfare. Comment House correspondent Wahab Bankole completes the
The first port of call for Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa was the ancient town of Okigbo in continuation of his tour of council areas ahead of the governorship primary election. Governor Aiyedatiwa and his team were at the palace of Oluoke of Okigbo, where he appealed to kingmakers and chiefs to speed up the process of selecting a new monarch following the death of the royal father.
Àmọ́ ìpè kábíyèsí láti rí ibi táwọn àgbà ń rè adẹ̀dí sọ fáwọn ìjòyè àti àwọn afọbajẹ wọ́n ṣe ní kámọ́kámọ́ pé ipò yìí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣòfò fún ìgbà tó pọ̀ rárá. Mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn, mo ní ìjọba tiwa àwa kọ́ la máa ń yan ọba fún ìlú, ìlú ló máa ń yan ọba fúnra wọn.
One of the illustrious sons of the town, Matthew Oyerimade, who rallied support for the governor, said his positive impacts are evident across the state.
I want to assure you by the fair grace of God that there is no other party in Okigbo except APC. APC is the only party in Okigbo, and I can assure you by the grace of God, before 12 o'clock on 20th of April, election will have been concluded. And our governor, His Excellency Lucky Aiyedatiwa, will be declared the winner.
The governor, while addressing party faithful and supporters, thanked them for their steadfastness and charged them not to lose focus and remain resolute ahead of the shadow election.
Torí mo wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nígbà tá à ń ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí igbákejì gómìnà ńgbà yẹn gbogbo aláfọwọ́ sí, mo lè tí wá di gómìnà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Mo lè mọ̀ pé ẹ fẹ́ kí n tẹ̀síwájú sí àtúnṣe gómìnà yẹn ni. You also want me to continue as your governor. Because of that, I know so much effort you have put in place. I read your posts on the social media. I hear the reports from your various meetings at your units and wards. You have spoken with one voice, even as you have agreed with one mind, that Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa should continue to be your governor beyond 24th of February 2025. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o, ẹ ṣé o, tó bá di ọjọ́ Saturday bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ti pinnu yẹn kẹ́tí sọ yẹn ní kẹ́ jáde pẹ̀lú membership card yìí ní word by word kẹ́ lọ dìbò.
Meanwhile, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Olamide Oladiji, other top government officials and party faithful were on ground to receive Governor Ayedatiwa and his team to Bola Nduro, headquarters of Ondo East local government area.
Mr. President, all our leaders in Ondo East, they are all with you.
The Yongede of Ekpe Kingdom, Oba Oyebade Akinkwade Isaacs, commended the governor for his efforts towards rebranding the state and urged his people to support him in the forthcoming election. The governor appreciated the royal father and people of the area for standing by his administration.
I promise that I will visit all the traditional rulers that have resolved and have come to the conclusion that I should continue as governor of the state beyond 2025. Kabisi Bodupel, thank you.
Thereafter, it was time for the people and party faithful to welcome the governor to the podium for his speech. The governor, while thanking the people for the support, said he is motivated to accelerate the state's development. He urged unity of purpose among members of the party ahead of the forthcoming governorship primary election.
The report was presented from our studio. People of Akure North and Ignore local government areas of Ondo State are throwing their weight behind Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa in his quest to govern the state beyond 2025. The people who played host to Governor Ayedatiwa in their council areas ahead of the state. Governor Ayedatiwa renewed his commitment to advance the state and urged more support for his administration. Meanwhile, Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa will today continue his tour of local government areas of Ondo State ahead of the governorship primary election of the All Progressives Congress. The tour, which kicked off on Friday, will move to Udigbo, zone of the state. The governor and his entourage will proceed to Eseodu, Irili, and Akure South local government areas on Tuesday, while party leaders and followers would receive his entourage in Akoko Southeast, Ose, and Owo on Wednesday. The period is being used by the governor to carry along party faithful in his quest to clinch APC tickets in Saturday's primary election. The construction of the Onyarugulen-Shagari Irese flyover in Akure, the Ondo State capital, is beginning to take shape with the actualization of the project. Osrc's visit to the site shows that the construction has reached an advanced stage as contractors intensify efforts to deliver in record time. Joy Files now completes the story.
Last year, the former governor of Ondo State, late Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, in furtherance of the infrastructural drive of his administration, commenced the construction of Onyarubulem Shagari Irese flyover. And 9 months into its construction, and with the coming on board of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, the project has reached an advanced stage. The configuration of the flyover project across the highway is 650 meters long and 28 meters in width, with the bridge superstructure comprising of 12 meters carriageway, 9 span of 15 meters bridge, with a 30 meters mid-span pre-stressed brim spanning across the federal highway, founded on over 160 numbers of foundation piles. A visit to the construction site shows improvements on the project, with the retaining walls at a developed stage and the earth filling in progress. Speaking on the ongoing project, the site engineer Tosin Adebayo, represented by Ojuba Midele, explained the level of work done so far, expressing confidence that the project will be delivered according to specifications.
We are doing earth filling, lateral filling. You can see the compactor here, vibrating roller doing its work. The excavator is here too, while the payloader is spreading the material for compaction. This is a retaining wall, reinforced concrete retaining wall, retaining the laterites. We have the filling we are doing now. Its function is to retain the laterites. The stipulated time is with the Ministry of Works. It's with the Ministry of Works, and we will compile by God's grace. This is slip road. We call it slip road. Is when you are coming from Irese and you are going to Futa side or Ilesa side, you just branch out. Instead of going straight to the road, to the main beach, you just branch out place. The work is going on now. We are going to do the same thing, is replica. The same thing we are doing here, we are going to do here. The work will soon start. I make the excavation first before the blinding and the reinforcement fixing.
The Special Advisor to the Governor on Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Joseph Babalola, expressed satisfaction at the level of work done so far.
Presently, by the grace of God, the percentage is between 16 and 65%. Even by the time I visited that site and then discussed with the contractors, I was really impressed with the kind of work that the person is doing there. And then the governor is also very impressed. You know, early in January, he directed all contractors to go back to site. And even this man did not even leave site since the time I've started. And then it's really working. It's working. The contract duration is 18 months. And he promised to deliver the project before that 18 months even expires. So that by now, we're already getting close to 65%. It's already true with the beams. By the time we now put the beams on those columns, on those big columns, the next thing we got to be putting on the deck, what they call the concrete slabs. And I mean, by the time people started seeing the deck, I mean the beam, they will be thinking that because the beams are very close, they will be thinking that maybe they've already started putting the deck there. So that it's going to be very massive. It's going to be very wonderful.
The flyover and junction improvements project, when completed, will address incessant carnage, facilitate the smooth flow of traffic, while adding to aesthetics of the state's capital. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
The Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, or Aneze Indigbo, has lauded the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project, estimated to cost 15 trillion naira. One is Indigbo, underpinning the inception of the coastal Lagos-Calabar route. It was confident that the project would greatly benefit the Nigerian people. Its Secretary General, Okechukwu Isibuzoro, however, called on the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and other key players to focus on the positive economic impact that the project will have on Nigerians rather than engaging in endless debates about it. Atiku had alleged that the award of the Lagos-Calabar project did not adhere to the necessary standards of due process. The project is designed to traverse the coastal states of Ogun, Ondo, Delta, Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom before reaching its final destination in Cross River. Nationwide darkness looms as the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, has insisted on withdrawing its services if the federal government fails. NUEE General Secretary Dominic Igwe told the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, that if nothing is done about the withdrawal of the tariff, its members would take decisive action. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission had on April 3 jacked up the electricity tariff for banned customers getting 20 hours of power supply daily. NUEE joined the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Unions Congress, and others to condemn the tariff hike, insisting it is not feasible to have 20 hours of electricity supply. Meanwhile, the Minister of Power, who spoke through his media aide, Bolaji Tunji, said the government is doing its best possible to improve power supply in Nigeria and make everybody happy at the end of the day. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has denied reports. It has cleared some persons said to be involved in financial misappropriation, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Wale maintained that investigations are still ongoing, saying EFCC has so far recovered 32.7 billion naira and $445,000 from the ministry. Oyewale stressed that investigations were not targeted at any person, also disclosed that discrete investigations by EFCC have opened other fraudulent dealings involving COVID-19 fund, the World Bank loan, and Abacha recovered loot released to the ministry by the federal government to execute its poverty alleviation mandate. He added that banks involved in the alleged fraud are being investigated, as managing directors of the indicted banks have made useful statements to investigators digging into the infractions. Mr. Oyewale assured that those found wanting will be prosecuted accordingly. The Nigerian Army has killed a suspected member of Eastern Security Network, ESN. The suspected ESN member was neutralized after an intense gun battle in the militia's hideout in Iketuaka. Describing the deceased, a terrorist, Onyema Nwachukwu, the director of Army Public Relations, said troops recovered one AK-47 rifle loaded with 19 rounds of special ammunition from him in a separate operation conducted by the Nigerian Army at a suspected IPOB ESN crossing points in Akawa Neto area of Abia State. Troops engaged the secessionists in a fierce fight, resulting in the terrorists scampering in disarray into nearby bushes. The soldiers, however, recovered a series of ammunition from the spot. The federal government has called for restraint from all sides involved in the fresh conflict in the Middle East. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, France, the government joins other members of the international community to call on Iran and Israel to exercise restraint as diplomatic efforts are ongoing to ease tension and avoid a wider conflict in the Middle East. According to her, it behooves the two countries to reflect on the universal commitment to peaceful resolution of conflicts for the advancement of global peace and security. Meanwhile, world leaders have also urged restraint after Iran launched an unprecedented wave of missiles and attack drones against its arch foe Israel at a time the Gaza war has inflamed Middle East tensions. Iran launched the attacks, its first ever to directly target Israeli territory, in retaliation for a deadly airstrike widely blamed on Israel that destroyed its consular building in Syria capital early this month. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has condemned Iran's drone and missile attack on Israel and said his country needs help from its allies to fend off threats from the air, just as Israel did. Zelensky again called on the U.S. Congress to approve vital aid package that has been blocked for months by political wrangling. Ukraine forces are facing new onslaughts from Russian troops in the east and daily attacks on cities and infrastructure from Russian missiles and drones. Akintunde Akishimola has details.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has condemned Iran's attack on Israel and said his country needs help from its allies to fend off threat from the air, just as Israel did. In a nightly address, Zelensky said, quote, Israel was not alone in this defense, adding that when Ukraine says the allies cannot turn a blind eye to Russia's missiles and drones, it means that it is necessary to act and act strongly. The war in Ukraine has escalated in recent weeks. Ukraine's top commander said the Russian forces aim to capture the town of Chavez Yar by May 9, setting the stage for an important battle for control of high ground in the east, where Russia is focusing its assaults. Since last March, Russia has launched multiple major attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, inflicting significant damage to the Ukrainian power system and causing emergency power cuts in some regions. This senior employee at a plant that is undisclosed for security reasons says he had to go to the bomb shelter after seeing that no power units were left intact. Zelensky again called on the U.S. Congress to approve a vital aid package that has been blocked by House Republicans for months. Republican Representative Steve Scalise said in response to the Iranian attack, the House would change its schedule to consider legislation that supports Israel and hold Iran accountable. It was not immediately clear to which legislations he was referring. Iran has supplied thousands of drones to Russia throughout its invasion of Ukraine. They have been used to exhaust Ukrainian air defenses and hit infrastructure far from the front lines.
Commanded by Mohammed Hamdan, exploded into open fighting in Khartoum and elsewhere. After fleeing from the war in Sudan to Egypt, a certain Mohammed Ismail says his ambitions are limited to putting food in the mouths of his 5 children from a meager monthly salary of about $100 earned at a paper factory in Giza. Adirunke Kolawole has more.
Mohammed Ismail fled the war in Sudan for Egypt in his new life in Giza. Ismail relies on a monthly salary of about $100 from a paper factory to put food in the mouth of his 5 children, but he says it's more important for his family to be safe.
We are not looking at the economic situation right now. We're more concerned with the safety aspect. My children now, one of them is named Saleh. He still sleeps with me until now, because the sounds of bangs and explosions scare him. He still wakes up scared at night, unless he sleeps next to me.
A year of war between Sudan Army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has driven more than 8.5 million people from their homes. It is the world's largest displacement crisis, which has uprooted families multiple times and pushed millions into extreme hunger. Some of the displaced, like Mohammed Ismail, escaped Sudan to neighboring countries with economic and security problems of their own. Others are internally displaced. Tens of thousands have sought shelter under the protection of the army at displacement center in the Red Sea city of Port Sudan. Masha Ali is the mother of 3 from the capital, Khartoum.
Displacement is a very harsh experience. You cannot imagine that one day you will be living like this, from your home with a room and a private life to another new place where you sleep on the floor, waiting for relief and anything to eat. You think you were in a dream when you think about this life. Up until this moment, which is almost a year now, it feels like we're in a dream. Is this reality? Is this how our reality would look like? It is very difficult.
Sudan was erupted on April 15, 2023 over a planned political transition under which the army and the RSF were competing to protect their interests. Fighting tore through the capital and unleashed waves of ethnic-driven violence in the western region of Darfur. Thousands of civilians have been killed, although death toll estimates are highly uncertain, and both sides have been accused of committing war crimes. The United States has announced an additional $100 million in aid to support the conflict in Sudan. Washington's announcement of further assistance comes ahead of a humanitarian conference in France on April 15. The U.S. has urged partners around the world to put greater priority on the conflict in Sudan and step up with further funding at the conference. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
Donald Trump will set foot in a New York courthouse today and become the first former U.S. president to stand trial in a criminal accused of falsifying his business records to disguise a hush money payment made to Stormy Daniels, a former adult film star, shortly before the 2016 election. Mr. Trump faces a maximum of 4 years in jail if convicted, but will avoid jail time and be fined instead. He has pleaded not guilty. Mr. Trump's historic trial will take place against the backdrop of his presidential campaign and could ultimately see the presumptive Republican nominee become a convicted felon months before voters head to the polls in November. The man who went on a stabbing rampage in a Sydney shopping centre appears to have targeted women. Joel Corky sent the crowded Westfield Bondi Junction complex into a panic on Saturday when he began stabbing people with a long blade. 5 of the 6 people who died were women, while several others, including a baby girl, were injured. The only man killed in the attack was security guard Fraser Tahi, who tried to intervene. And from the sporting arena, Quadri Aruna, Nigeria's sole flag bearer at the ITTF World Cup Macau 2024, has been drawn in Group 15 of the men's singles. According to African Table Tennis Federation, the Nigerian will slug it out against Portugal's Marcos Freitas and Puerto Rico's Daniel Gonzalez. Similarly, Egypt's Omar Assa has been handed the tough task of progressing within the group. 48 players have been drawn into 16 groups of 3 players in each group, with the winner in each group advancing to the second stage of the competition. Aruna, who has been a regular face at the ITTF World Cups, remains the first and only African to have reached the quarter-final stage of the $1 million prize money tournament. Now with that, we've come to the end of Word at Noon. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.